Hey guys, I just thought I'd pop in and share with you my thoughts today about the show, and particularly the assignment that I gave from the Women's Worth weekly show, which began yesterday. And the assignment was on affirmations. I gave an assignment for people to come up with 3 affirmations that speaks to your life, that speaks into your life, that's going to move you to a goal, to a place in your life. And I gave an example of my own affirmation. And I grabbed mine from Google and I typed in, affirmations for women. And I've been stuck on that affirmation, which is the doors of opportunity will fly open for my dreams. And that's just been on my mind because I sincerely use affirmations, so that's been around me, that's been on that card, I've been carrying it with me. And I said to myself, one of the things that I do know about change, over the years that I've been counseling and in my own recovery, is that it is so important for you to not to be distracted by outside force that does not line up with where you're trying to go to the best of your ability. So I thought about a way that I could do that with a Woman's Worth show, and when it comes to the assignments. So what I've thought about is creating a Woman's Worth Facebook group, so when I do give out assignments, and I am, that we can share our assignments within that group, in the closed group. Although I will be sharing a lot of things outside of that group, but those who are sincerely interested in actually doing some work, because I said that yesterday, this is not about just talking. This is about doing it, doing the work, using real tools like I gave with the affirmations. So I thought about that. So I am going to go ahead and do it, do the group. I'm going to open up the group probably beginning tomorrow. I'll set it up, and it's invitation only. Anybody that wants to join. I'm not putting someone in the group. I'm not doing it for you because I don't like it being done for me. I like people to ask my permission if it's okay to throw me in a group. But I'm going to do the same and respect where people at. So it's by invitation only. If you want to join in, you just come and request to join the group, and that's where we'll share the assignments. It will be a closed group. Another reason why I wanted to come on is because, I truly believe in changing your thinking. I truly believe that. I believe that if you change your thinking, it changes your belief, and then it eventually affects how you live your life. And I know that's true because that's how my life began to transform. So affirmations is the reason why affirmation is so important, because we have a conscious and a subconscious mind. And what that means is, real simply, is that the conscious mind is how we operate and what we are aware of, the things that we know that we're doing on a day-to-day. When I decided to come here and record this, I consciously made a decision that I was going to come here and record. However, we actually operate more in the subconscious mind than the conscious mind. To give you an example of that is that, people, even my life, I said, God, I just did that on automatic pilot, or have you ever gotten in your car and you're heading one way, you say, I'm going here, but somehow you wind up over here. And subconsciously, you went to this other place because you're probably used to going to this other place, which is usually probably home or a particular store. You just popped up there out of nowhere because you were operating on autopilot, and that's what the subconscious mind does. Now, having said that, when we're at the age between 2 and 6, that's when we're most impressionable. That's when we're most impressed about the world, when we're younger, because when you're like 2 and 6 years old, you just take in what you see, you just take in what you're told, you just take it in without question. You're just taking information in, and it's usually not until around 7 years old is when you begin to say, let me think about what you just told me. Let me think about it. You don't do that from 2 to 6. So whoever you're around during that period of time, whatever goes on, what you hear, what you see in your home, in your neighborhood, in your school, and if you've seen that thing repeatedly, all of a sudden it develops a way of thinking. And when you get to 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12, what happens is, whatever happens in life, you measure it against what you were taught, your belief system, which was developed when you were young, and I remember when I did a group with these young men and adolescents, because I work, in an adolescent treatment program, and we were talking about, when you go home, how are you going to stay clean and sober, going back home, trying to hang out with the same friends who's still getting high, and what they said was they were going to, some were honest, they were going to find a way. They thought they can just stay clean and sober and still hang around their friends. And the reason they said they wanted to do that is because that's my friend. That's my friend, that's my homeboy, that's my ride or die. I cannot separate them. That's my friend. They were there for me. And I said to them, why would you take the risk? Because these young men, when they wound up in that program, were there because most of them were on probation. They were court-ordered there. They were risking going back to RYDC. For those who know that, that's a teenage form of jail. Even though they were willing to take that risk of being reincarcerated instead of trying to find new friends. And a lot of the reasons after we began to talk about it, what they said is that their friends represent their neighborhood or their family, and that's all they knew. That was their familiar. That's what that way of thinking, that way of operating in neighborhoods, it was the way they grew up, and that's who they know. So when we were talking about changing friends, they were like, well, no, I don't know that world. Here I don't know that world, and not only that, a lot of them said, well, this is the way my uncle taught me how to be, and this is how my mom taught me how to be, and this is just how we do it. And then you start hearing these little sayings about, I'm not going to change who I am. This is who I am. I'm not changing me. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it 100. This is who I am. And I said, at the risk of losing your freedom, because they were in that program for 7, 8, 9 months, was not able to go home. I said, the risk of your freedom, at the risk of your education, at the risk of relationships, at the risk of all of that, you're willing to still be with people that's going to cause you, well, not cause you, because you make that decision yourself. For people who are not living a good life, you're willing to put yourself at risk for going back to jail and getting high again. And they were like, yeah. Yeah. Because subconsciously, in their minds, that is the way you're supposed to live. And they felt that if I lived another way, they felt that was betraying their people, that was betraying how they grew up, that was betraying everything they knew. And they weren't willing to change some of that. And I said, but what about if it's possible that you change some of that and you start learning to become comfortable with new people? And they were so resistant to that. They wanted to hold on to their old way of thinking because that was their familiar. That was their thinking and their mindset, that it was okay to commit a crime. It was okay to hang out with people who still getting high. It's okay to not go to school. That's because of what they saw. Then I said, there are people out there that can help you change your lives. And this is not just for them. This is just for all of us when it comes to change. Change is so difficult because, our subconscious mind has taught us this is how we operate in life. This is how we operate. And people are not willing to let go. Some of us, including myself, let go of old negative ways, kicking and screaming. And sometimes not until, the situations get so painful, people don't change, and some people die in situations before they change. So I wanted to come back and just kind of explain to you, and hope I made that clear, that the reason for affirmations, because that is the thing that's going to knock out those old messages, and I think I said it yesterday, and it's going to replace it with new messages, because those old messages are still embedded in your subconscious. And you operate more in your subconscious. So when you start saying things like, I know I want to be a success, I just know it, but for some reason I could just never get there. And that's because our subconscious tells us we belong at a certain place. We're not worthy. Success is for those people, not for us. And we need to begin to change some of that thinking and our belief system, and affirmation does that for you. So just to want to reiterate that, I just wanted to, give hopefully a more more of an incentive for you to use affirmations. And affirmations is not something that you just use once and your life is going to change. It's something that you have to repeatedly use, repeatedly say to yourself, including repeatedly being around people who are going the same way. That's the reason why I thought about doing this closed group. You have to repeatedly do that, because your belief system didn't happen because you saw something once in your life. It's because you were around it every day in your childhood, and it became your normal. It became your normal. So I just want to jump on to say that, I am going to do this group. I'm going to call the Woman's Worth group, unless I, kind of change up that name in some kind of way. But it's going to be a Woman's Worth group, and we're going to do some assignments, and this way I don't have to like jump all over Facebook and see if you did your assignment. We can just go to one centralized place, and all are invited. Yeah, I'm excited. I want to give a shout out to Michelle Beloved Haynes, who was the first one to post her affirmation today. Shout out to Michelle, and her affirmation was actually the Serenity Prayer, which I know very well, being a woman in recovery. I know that well, and for me, that speaks to Michelle wanting to call peace in her life, because Serenity Prayer says accept the things that you cannot change, and then it also speaks to the work that she's going to do, which is to change the things you can. So shout out to you, Michelle, for posting your affirmations. Shout out to Samantha Ballard. Samantha wasn't able to get on the group. She was one of the ones that had technical difficulties, but she jumped in today and she posted her affirmation also. So shout out to you, Samantha Ballard. I appreciate that. Shows your commitment. And thank you, ladies. And I put mine on there. I put mine on there. So if you have not put yours on there, it is not too late. I'm going to tell you the tools that I'm going to give will change your life if you use them. So ladies, it wasn't just for the post today. It's for you to look at during the course of your day and throughout the week. So I'm looking forward to seeing your affirmations for tomorrow. And I'm going to think about mine. And mine that I chose yesterday about the doors of opportunity will fly open for my dream. I just so believe that. I so believe that, because my mind is opening to new ideas on how to empower people, and it's happening. Transformation is possible. So thank you guys, and I will see you on Facebook.